Hi, this is Jane. Today I'll be talking about the integration of agroforestry and community-based forestry for sustainable land use and restoration in Sarawak to our industrial representative and decision makers. What is agroforestry? Agroforestry is a sustainable land management practice that integrates trees and shrubs into agriculture system, while community-based forestry is a form of forest management where local communities play a central role in managing and making decisions about the forest resources. Why is this important to Sarawak? Recently, Sarawak was ranked the highest in deforestation in Malaysia. That is equivalent to 100% of forest land decrease since year 2000. With 70% of natural forestry loss, we have emitted tons of CO2 into the atmosphere. In just the past 4 weeks, there were over 400,000 of deforestation alerts detected all around Sarawak, particularly in the regions of Belaga, Maradi, Bintulu, Miri, and Tatau. And residing in these regions, we have our minority tribes whose livelihood depends highly on the natural resources that the forest land provides, who are the Penan, Kenyah, Kelabit, Saban, Kayan, and others. Due to the time constraint, I'm not going to introduce the tribes individually, but as you can see, let's look at some of the news that I've gathered online. These are some of the recent news concerning our agriculture and timber industries, our government, and the local communities. For the past many years, we have been trying to achieve a balance, and yet it is yet to be achieved. Sarawak is rich in its natural resources, so the state's economic structure is largely export-oriented, mainly through mining, agriculture, and forestry. Last year, Sarawak registered a 12 billion in state revenue. And a big part of this revenue actually contributed by our international and national trades with Japan, China, Peninsula Malaysia, South Korea, India, Australia, and Singapore. Also, with 32% of Sarawak state land identified as suitable for agriculture, while only less than 9% is actually planted with productive crops, I would say that Sarawak has plenty of room for improvement in terms of agriculture and agroforestry. Moving forward, according to Sarawak Post-COVID-19 Development Strategy to 2030, Sarawak is focusing largely on sustainable environmental management to achieve green and blue economy. Let us look at forestry in terms of green economy. Sarawak is to then focus on community-based ecosystem to empower its local communities, of course also to properly manage its biodiversity and natural resources, and not to forget to promote the culture of sustainability in its operation. And in agriculture, hopefully through agroforestry and community-based forestry, we then will be able to achieve restoration of some degraded forests in Sarawak. So is community-based forestry sustainable? Let's look at some of these real-life agroforestry examples. So not too far away in Indonesia, villagers of Padang Tika manage 76,000 hectares of mangrove forest. Through their agroforestry business, they are able to generate 22,000 USD per month, which is not only beneficial to the people, but also the economy and as well as the ecosystem. The question is sustainability. So it was reported that during COVID-19 pandemic, the farm was doing even better than before. So in terms of sustainability, I would say yes, agriculture is the way to go. While indigenous communities are legally entitled to at least 15% of our world's forests, working together with our local community is certainly something that we would want to look at in the very near future. Let's look at Brazil next. Community forests in Brazil were able to bring in 194 billion in benefits over the span of 20 years. And also in Guatemala, in the past 20 years, out of 9 community concession, they were able to generate income up to $805 million in dollars. This is definitely something that is good for the environment, for the economy, and for the people. And with the community forest and agroforestry going on, they were also able to reduce the CO2 emission into the atmosphere. There are actually countless cases of successful situation where local government work together with its communities to build sustainable and profitable community forests around the world. So in order for government and its local communities to achieve this level of success and economic benefits, we will have to look at a few NGOs that actually help to make this happen. Let's look at Rekovtech. Pardon me if I mispronounce the name. Who has 36 years of experience in managing community forests in Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Myanmar, Nepal, Thailand, and Vietnam, which are countries not too far away from Malaysia. Their community managed forests have doubled over the past decade, and they are even looking at a 500% of increase in the next 20 years. So with sustainability in question, I would say based on a few of very good examples that we gathered online, sustainability of community agroforestry is definitely not a question. It will be sustainable when it is properly managed and supported by the right channels. Similarly, we have International Model Forest Network, which was originally funded by the government of Canada. And they have over 70 million hectares of community forests around the world, which includes Japan, India, Cambodia, Philippines, China, and Vietnam. And you can see that, as discussed earlier, while moving towards a green economy, investor relations are definitely one of the priority that industries, government, and community should focus on. Through agroforestry and community-based forestry movement, we would then be able to achieve favorable ESG standards, which stands for environmental, social, and governance score in terms of investor relationship, which is properly aligned to our SDG goal of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. While community-based forestry is relatively new in Malaysia, in order for Sarawak to carry this out, the state will have to work closely together with its national and international counterparts on budgeting, funding, and green grant application in order to gather all the financial support that the state could possibly get. Of course, working together with like-minded NGO, as mentioned earlier in the presentation, could be a great help as well. And through community development programs and careful agroforestry planning, such as landscape planning, species selection, nursery planning, and farming techniques, we would also be able to achieve agroforestry in Sarawak. Collaboration together with industrial experts such as the people who have worked years in the forest with hands-on experience, and the research and education committees who have got archive of information on the sustainability of biodiversity and forestry is also an essential part of the initial planning towards agroforestry and community-based forestry in Sarawak. This can be done through initial focus group interviews and also ongoing meetings between government, the various industries, as well as the local communities, including the women who have got generations of knowledge on land preservation and also agriculture and farming in the forest. this is not something that is achievable short term. I would say that this is a pretty long-term initiative that will require not only cross-sectoral, cross-departmental, even cross-national and international effort is highly essential. I want to thank you all for staying with me up to this point of my presentation. Thank you for your time, and also a big thank you to the individual and the organization and the websites that make this presentation possible. If you have got any questions, feel free to email me or comment down below. Other than that, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye for now.